Hello and welcome to the evening news. My name is Dino. And here is the stories. AK man slain in quadruple killing in Central Village. Justin McGregor, also called AK Man, who was wanted by the St. Catherine South Police Division, was among 4 men killed by unknown assailants in Chinatown, Central Village, St. Catherine, on Friday morning. The other persons killed are Mark Ellis, also called Frassi T, and 2 other men who have so far only been identified by their aliases Otto Man and Mento. Meanwhile, the police are asking Delcita Chin, also known as 3 Ways, to report to the Central Village Police Station or the Major Investigation Division as soon as possible, as the police believe he can assist in the investigation. However, the head of the police's corporate communications unit, Senior Superintendent of Police Stephanie Lindsay, told reporters that the investigators do not have any suspects at this time. Residents reported hearing explosions sometime after 3:30 Friday morning, and checks in the area after 8 a.m. led to the discovery of the bodies of the men. A result of an internal feud in the Jaggy Jaggy gang, whose leader returned to the community from prison last week Wednesday, after being acquitted of charges. AK Man had reportedly taken over the leadership of the gang during his absence. There is a strong police presence in the area at this time. Cop clash. Rank and file at odds with commish over interdiction of Police Federation head, Corporal Rohan James. A firestorm of criticism has been directed at Police Chief Major General Anthony Anderson following his decision yesterday to interdict the head of the police union for perceived disrespectful comments. Anderson, the police commissioner, ordered the immediate interdiction of Corporal Rohan James, chairman of the Police Federation, and directed that he should face 3 disciplinary charges before a court of inquiry related to comments he made during the funeral for slain cop Damian Blair. The Federation is the union that represents policemen and women from the rank of constable to inspector. James was also ordered to hand over his police identification card and other government-issued properties in his possession and not leave the island without the permission of the Governor-General. He will be paid 3/4 of his salary. Angry rank-and-file members of the Jamaican police force slammed the commissioner's decision, calling it unprecedented and charging that it reeked of politics. They warned, too, that normalcy could not be guaranteed going forward. That is straight politics. I am in about 4 police WhatsApp groups and the sentiment is the same: disrespect dad and go slow is what is happening and will continue to happen, one crime fighter told IRI News Media TV. The views were the same in other groups with retired policemen and women, he disclosed. This is history. In my 30-odd years, in the police force, it's the first me see something like this. You remember Raymond Wilson, they tried it with him and had to withdraw, said one policeman, referring to one of James' predecessors. But there was no hint of any animosity for Corporal Arlene McBean, General Secretary of the Federation, who urged her colleagues to continue to be safe and protect the citizens of Jamaica. We will definitely be communicating further, said McBean, a former chairman of the Federation, in a message to members yesterday. The main parliamentary opposition urged Anderson to immediately rescind James' interdiction, calling it unjust, a violation of his constitutional rights, and a dangerous precedent that could have far-reaching implications for labor rights and freedom of expression. Expressing concerns about the upholding of a court order should not be grounds for punitive action, but rather seen as a responsible act in the interest of justice, the People's National Party said in a statement yesterday. James has been accused of breaching 2 police force orders, dated June 17, 2010, and May 29, 2014, as well as the Jamaica Constabulary Force's Code of Conduct, according to a document seen by IRI News Media TV. Under Charge 1, James is accused of conducting himself contrary to the discipline, good order and guidance of the force for comments made at the funeral held 2 Saturdays ago. You communicated to the public press on issues relating to the implementation of the workforce management system and overtime payment without the permission and authority of the Commissioner of Police, the document said. Under Charge 2, the Federation chairman was accused of being disrespectful to seniors in rank for saying during the service, "Mark my word, and I also want to say to the police high command and to our commissioner, God help you if the membership is not paid their overtime come this month." In Charge 3, he is accused of making public comments criticizing the administration of the Jamaica Constabulary Force with regard to overtime payment, which attracted a high level of media interest. Efforts to speak with James were unsuccessful up to late yesterday. Bert Samuels, one of the attorneys representing James, told IRI News Media TV that within the next 2 working days, they intend to file a claim for judicial review of the commissioner's decision. Samuels said he could not speak to his client's mood since the interdiction, but said James understands the frustration of the rank-and-file members when he was carrying out his duties on their behalf. He is asking them to be calm and allow the court to deal with the matter, Samuels said. James has frequently used the funerals of slain cops to advocate for the welfare of serving members. At the funeral in question, he made several references to the High Command and even singled out the police commissioner. I also want to say to our High Command and Council of Deputies that the Federation is not going to be muzzled, intimidated, or bamboozled. We negotiate with the government, not with the High Command, he said. The Council of Deputies have no moral authority to tell us what to do when a court orders that we are to be paid overtime work, James said, referring to deputy commissioners of police. Activities permitted, prohibited with B visas. Visas are a wonderful way to visit the United States, U.S. Many activities and events are allowed under a B visa, but how can you know if they will align with your specific travel purpose? And with all that flexibility, how can you avoid accidentally misusing B visas? This report will provide a brief overview of what activities are or are not permitted with B visas. What types of activity are allowed on B visas? There are 2 types of B visas that allow for different activities during your visit to the U.S. First, the B1 is a temporary business visa. It allows for certain work-related visits including business negotiations, professional conventions, international athletic competitions, academic seminars, etc. Second, the B2 is for temporary, pleasure-related visits. With a B2 you can visit friends and family, go vacationing, participate in amateur athletic events, or receive medical treatment. The combined B1/B2 is the most common non-immigrant visa, allowing for both business and pleasure visits. In plain language, what activities are prohibited when traveling on a B visa? Although the B1 visa allows for certain business activities, it is illegal to work for wages while in the U.S. While some exceptions exist, the principal place of business and accrual of profits must be here in Jamaica for B1 business activities. Volunteering to sell articles or services or accept donations, even for a charity, is considered work and is prohibited when traveling on a B visa. As always, follow the law when in the U.S. Participating in any illegal activity constitutes a misuse of a visa. What are some circumstances that get B visa recipients into trouble? Always be honest and forthcoming in the visa application process. Travelers who attempt to conceal their true purpose of travel and misrepresent their applications by providing fraudulent information or documents may be found permanently ineligible for visas of any kind. Remember to make realistic travel plans and prepare for unforeseen events. In some cases, visitors with B visas encounter unplanned expenses and consider working illegally to make up the difference. This is prohibited. A history of prolonged and frequent 4 to 6 month stays, even within the authorized until date, may raise questions about how a visitor financially supports themselves away from their home. This may result in additional scrutiny during the visa renewal process. Finally, beware of opportunities which are too good to be true. Exercise caution if conferences, seminars, or events require excessive registration fees from sponsors in the U.S. or in Jamaica. What is lottery scamming? Is it a crime? Also known as advance fee fraud, lottery scamming is the illegal practice of tricking victims into sending money in the hopes of receiving lottery winnings, or other false promises. This type of scamming is a federal crime in the U.S. and carries severe financial penalties and even time in prison. Even indirect participation in this type of activity is both a crime and a misuse of a visa. Examples of indirect participation are collecting a victim's bank account information, using private information to make fraudulent financial transactions, or transporting proceeds from lottery scamming. You should not hesitate to report this activity to authorities while traveling on any type of U.S. visa. Reporting crimes that you are not involved in will not endanger your visa. What are the consequences of using your B visa incorrectly? B visa holders who are suspected of working illegally may have their visas revoked or be found ineligible for future visas. This can cause severe inconveniences if travel plans are already arranged. In conclusion, use resources such as the Visa Wizard on Travel. State. Gov to select the correct type of visa to meet your travel plans. Always be truthful throughout the visa application process. Plan ahead to support yourself while you travel. Avoid illegal or questionable activities and remember, if an opportunity sounds too good to be true, it probably is. It is the mission of the consular section of the U.S. Embassy to facilitate legitimate travel, and we thank you for your interest in visiting the U.S. Dream cut short. Mother grieves as cops search for clues after promising son killed on Mona Road. Advanced plans by a 20-year-old to open his car detailing business will never materialize after he was stabbed to death by an attacker late Tuesday while making his way home on foot from a store. The incident occurred at the intersection of Wellington and Mona Road, but the now deceased 20-year-old, Taj Chung, reportedly managed to make his way home, where he collapsed. Chung was rushed to hospital and died while undergoing treatment. His mother, Jelly Campbell, told Irie News Media TV that Taj was on his way to his sister's house when tragedy struck, turning her world upside down. I can confirm, based on what several people indicated to me, that he was indeed pounced upon by an assailant from a vehicle, Campbell said, adding that she is leaving everything up to the investigators. Big dreams. Taj, according to his mom, was ambitious and had big dreams. He was on the verge of starting his own business. He was opening a car detailing service. He had a passion for cars, and he was a very meticulous human being even though he had a creative side, Campbell said. She told Irie News Media TV that there was a point in time when Taj wanted to venture into graphic design as a career, but those aspirations were sidelined to become a business owner. Campbell remembers Taj considering himself a spiritual person and that he had had a series of premonitions over his life. He sometimes felt it was a burden because oftentimes when he would have been in a place or gone through an incident, he would have felt that it already happened or he could foresee something happening, Campbell said. She tried to get him to look at his concern as a blessing and use it to help himself and others. I wonder if he had any premonition that this incident was about to occur and so being that he perhaps would have been mentally prepared to defend himself, Campbell said. His mother said his last words to her were "Mommy, I love you," sealed with a hug. He stared right into my eyes and said, "Mommy, no matter what, you don't ever forget to say I love you." He said, "You hear me?" And I said, "Taj, I love you, too." The police say, Chung, a student of Cactus Way, Mona Heights, died as a result of injuries received during a confrontation with an unknown assailant. Reports from the Halfway Tree police are that at about 9:45 p.m., Chung was seen in a tussle with an unknown man when he suddenly fell to the ground. He was seen bleeding from a wound to the neck. Investigations are ongoing. Veteran dancehall artiste Mad Cobra released on bail. Veteran dancehall artiste Mad Cobra has been released on bail after being arrested and charged in South Carolina in the United States for alleged cocaine and gun offenses. The Florence County Detention Center website says the artiste, whose given name is Ewart Everton Brown, was released today as his bond was posted. The DJ was detained yesterday by deputies in Florence County following a traffic stop along the I-95 highway in South Carolina. Police say the 55-year-old was driving a black BMW sport utility vehicle when he was signaled to stop for speeding. Women from hell. And will tell you that it's a different kind of pain that envelops them when a woman hurts them. For some, it's because they're used to being the ones dishing out the pain and they're never on the receiving end, and for others, they would never have expected that the women they loved could do them like that. What's the worst thing a woman has done to you? These four guys spill. Edwin, 46. She gave me a jacket. True story, it was when I was filing for my youth and the embassy asked for paternity tests that I found out that two of them weren't mine. The whole time, one was 12 and the other was 16, this woman had convinced me that the boy's Asian features were from her great-grandparents. I never got over that. It was worst for the boys. It was even worse when she tried to say that the tests were wrong. I'm going through the adoption process, but it's been a long, hard struggle. I'm resolute, though, that those are still my sons, but their mother is dead to me. Carl, 34. I had cheated while I was away on a work program, so I guess she thought that she was paying me back. But nothing I could have done warranted what she did. First she faked a pregnancy. Then she faked an abortion. Then she said she chickened out of that. Then she said she had a miscarriage. Then she said she was wrong. This whole back and forth went on for months, and I was never sure what story was coming next. Ultimately, she said she had another late miscarriage and lied that she was in the hospital and almost died. When I had my family check it out, it was all lies, and she was safe and fine at home, just cooking up story after story. Tony, 50. We were married for 4 years when I realized that married life wasn't for me. I begged her to end it civilly, but instead, she told all our friends and family that the reason the marriage ended was because I came out of the closet and she caught me in our bed with a man. That was 20 years ago, and to this day, many people still believe her story, even though it's a lie, and all I wanted was my freedom. Tim, 32. She tried to kill me. No cap. I wondered why I was always sick and just felt overall lousy. I went to so many doctors, but they said it was either stress or my ulcer or psychosomatic. It was while I was updating her phone one day that I saw some screenshots from some page she was following on social media that was giving advice on how to bind a partner to you using herbs. So sis was trying to tie me by putting all kinds of rubbish in my food so I wouldn't leave. That was a woman from hell.